discretion is advised. Go where no man has gone before.
It'll make your head spin. It'll knock your socks off.
Broadcasting live from beautiful 30-degree, snowy downtown Cleveland, it's station WDWL TV, home of not one, but 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and an Oscar. I'm your host, the grumpy old man. And, oh yeah, we're brought to you by Grumpy Vulture Productions. So, I look out the window just before showtime, and it's frickin' snowing. This goddamn city. Of course, you know why it's snowing, Kathy. You've lived here long enough. You know why it's snowing. Come on, you know why it's snowing. It's snowing because tomorrow is the St. Patrick's Day parade. That's why it's snowing.
I love it.
You're a sick bird. Yep, that's why it's snowing. It couldn't be nice weather for the parade. It's gotta snow. I feel sorry for all them kids that are in the high school marching bands, especially, the cheerleaders and baton throwers, and in their little skimpy outfits, they'll be freezing their butts off. Then my neighbor asked me, "Are you going to the parade?" I said, "Are you on the verge of insanity?" I haven't gone to that parade in probably 40 years. 50 years. Yeah. It's been a good 50 years since I've been downtown for that parade. Although I loved it when we worked for the county. You got to go to the parade and get paid for it. Really? Yeah, the winds kicked up here, but not as bad as they were yesterday. And thank God I didn't lose internet. Although there was a quick power blink. And I'm like, oh shit, here we go. Really? We just got a dusting so far. As a matter of fact, the snow looks like them, what the hell's the name of the halite? Them little itty-bitty pellets. That's what the snow looks like. But it's just a dusting. Just barely covering the color of the car, But, tomorrow's the parade. And they're calling for wind advisory tomorrow, so it'll not only be a cold parade, it'll be a windy parade. Holy shit, really? God damn. Thank God nothing hit close to you. God, that's scary. Although it's tornado season, you know, the next couple of months, I think tornado season goes from March to like the end of April, maybe into May. Man, that's scary shit. I don't know why I don't have enough volume in my headphones. I keep turning the volume up and it ain't doing shit. I wonder if the headphone volume buttons ain't doing nothing. I mean, I can hear. I don't want to adjust the mic gain because it's up loud enough the way it is. I think. I'm not fooling with it. Although I was going to use the other microphone, although nobody would have known the difference. I did give it a bit of a test the other day just to make sure it's working. Did you see any of the pictures of the attendees for the Oscars yesterday? Mainly the women. Google Gwyneth Paltrow. She had the most disgusting, she called it a dress. It was basically a piece of white cloth in the front and a piece of white cloth in the back. No sides, a couple little strings like right around her breast area, and she was naked. She had no underwear on. As she walked around, you could see her ass. She came down the steps and you could see her frontal part. It was disgusting. It was absolute. I can't. Of course, everybody speculated she wore that dress just to get the attention. But she was completely naked underneath. And it was like I say, it was cloth in the front, cloth in the back. I cannot believe she wore something like that. It's like, you know, she got out of the shower, dried off, put on her makeup, and put these two pieces of cloth on. Yeah, as she was walking the red carpet, you could see her bare ass every time the dress swayed. And then when she came down the steps, you know, she was kind of holding it so she wouldn't step on it. And let's just say the photographers had a good time. They said the Italian designer, which I don't know what he designed. She's been wearing this Italian designer's clothing since like 1990. He didn't design nothing. He had them cut 2 pieces of cloth out, put a couple of strings on the side, and went, "Here you go." Well, like they say, everybody said she did it for the attention. But Google it. Matter of fact, it would be even better if you could find a video of her like walking the red carpet and coming down the steps. It's, I'll tell you what, she had balls better than a breeding bull to wear that thing. It was actually disgusting. But she got the attention she was looking for because everybody was talking about it today. Isn't it disgusting? Absolutely disgusting. I mean, basically, if she wanted that kind of attention, she should have arrived naked. Well, she was. Left very little to the imagination. But if she wore it for the attention, like they say, she got the attention. And then Sean Penn won Best Actor and didn't show because he's over in the Ukraine having coffee with whatever his name is. Yeah, he flew over and was a guest of the Ukrainian president. There were a bunch of pictures of him sitting around. They're having coffee, chit-chatting. Then they were saying there's a possibility that old Conan, who basically they said that he would be the host of the Oscars, like for life, and then he did a kind of a comical skit takeoff from the movie that Sean Penn was in, One Battle After Another. And a lot of people kind of took offense to it. I mean, they ought to leave him, host forever because it's the only gig that he's got anymore. He can't get on late night television anymore. Nobody wants him. I was going to turn it on and I was like, yeah, it's boring as shit. I just read all the reviews this morning and watched all the videos and saw old Gwyneth Paltrow hanging her ass out. I can't believe they actually let her in. You would think that somebody from the Oscar committee would have went, nah, come on, go put some underwear on. But nobody said nothing to her. Unbelievable. And you know, that Italian designer probably charged, 12, 15 grand for that fucking dress. Can't even call it a dress. Jesus Christ. It's fucking 2 pieces of cloth. That's all it is. I can't believe when she went for a fitting that she actually went, oh my God, I love it. I can't wait to wear it without underwear. You would have thought that maybe he would have designed some fancy frilly panties to go underneath. Or maybe he did and she went, I'll skip that. Unbelievable. Oh, I couldn't believe when I saw that today. It just goes to show you she has no taste whatsoever. And if she did it thinking she was going to get the attention of some movie producer to put her in a movie, I don't think it worked. Yeah. Yeah, you got that right, Kathy. Yeah.
Wow!
I'll give you that one. I mean, she's known for being a little off anyway. Not to mention, over the years, she's pissed enough people off in Hollywood. As a matter of fact, she was blacklisted for a little bit. She pissed off the wrong people, and then she kissed a lot of ass and got in some movie. I can't remember what movie she was in. But if she was looking for attention to get into a movie, I don't know. I cannot believe when she saw that dress, she went, I want it. It's gorgeous. If I was her husband or boyfriend or whatever, I don't know if she's married, I went, where's the rest of it? You ain't going out of the house like that. I bet you her mother, if she's still alive, was real proud. You starting that again? Damn bird. Again. I'm going to staple your ass shut. I got an email today from my friend in Scottsdale. She said, "Are you starting that shit again?" "Yes, I am." "That one's for you, because I know you're watching." She doesn't like sound effects, especially. That one's for you, too. I knew sooner or later I'd get one. I knew sooner or later, because I know she's a regular follower. Matter of fact, I emailed her back and I said, "Took you long enough." But she still listens. "I bet you got the volume down." Ha ha. I listened to the playback and I was like, I don't need amplified speakers. I don't know, you know, the two sets came from the same company. And they're color changing speakers. The only difference between set A and set B is the design on the front. But evidently, these have different speakers inside of them. Because I had the volume 100% on that first set, and they weren't as loud as these. And these are just loud enough. If you get them too loud, people complain. I think they're just loud enough. Now, she said they were too loud. She preferred the first night with the shitty speakers. I like these better. I think these come across right at the perfect volume. I make my point. So if you don't like the sound effects, turn the volume down. Or find somebody that reads lips that can translate to you and turn your volume off. Yeah, when I listen to the playback, they're perfect. I think they're perfect. They're not too loud. And I make my point. And I hope I get the splitter cable soon so I can hook up both tablets, because the other one's got even more sound effects on it.
Whippersnapper.
So anything planned for tomorrow? There any St. Patrick's Day celebrations? You gonna wear your green tomorrow? When I worked for the county, we had this old guy. His name was Ray Snagowski. Ray Snagowski. And on St. Patrick's Day, he'd pin a $50 bill to his shirt. And he'd say, "There's my green, I'm wearing my green." And he thought he was funny. But he'd walk around with a $50 bill pinned to his shirt. We were trying to figure out a way of distracting him and getting the $50 bill and then going downtown to Fagan's and partying on Ray's money. But he had it on his shirt with two safety pins, one at the top and one at the bottom. Because I'll tell you, if we could have got that $50 bill, we'd have been at Fagan's partying. Believe me. Oh yeah, we had a girl in the office. She had a hat on it that said, "Pinch me, I'm Irish." And boy, did we have fun. Everybody went by and pinched her on the ass. Yeah, instead of "Kiss me, I'm Irish," she had "Pinch me, I'm Irish." Holy Christ. Yeah, you got that right. I was going to buy some corned beef and make it for tomorrow. Jesus Christ, the stuff must be made out of titanium. The smallest one, which you know when you cook corned beef, you can start with a corned beef like this and it ends up like this. The smallest one, which it was what they call a point. And I don't really care for the point. I like the flat. It was $22. And by the time I'd have cooked it up, it had been enough for one meal after it shrunk. And then, you know, after tomorrow, they'll be throwing the shit at you. They'll mark it down to get rid of it. Matter of fact, I'm going to go up to Mark's on Wednesday. And I'm going to see how much they mark it down, and if I think it's reasonable, I'll buy a couple and I'll stick one or two in the freezer. One year, I bought a pretty good size brisket, and I took, you get the seasoning. So I took the seasoning and I mixed it in about a cup of water. And then I put the corned beef in aluminum foil and sealed it up. And I put it out on the grill. Because I had a gas grill, and I would I would drag it right outside my side door. And like every half hour, I would flip it. And I can't remember how long I had it on the grill. Oh my God, did it turn out great. it had a little flavor from being in the grill, that smoky flavor. But that cup of water steamed that corned beef perfect. And because my neighbor come over and he asked me what the hell I was cooking, you know. And I told him, I said, it's a corned beef brisket. And he said, on the grill? I said, yeah, basically I'm steaming it. And I told him I just had 1 cup of liquid, I poured it in, and I made sure it was really well sealed. And I would go out every half hour and turn it, and it turned out great. And at that time, I had a slicer. And I, real thin, like the sandwich shop do, I sliced that down. I had some good Jewish rye that I got from the Jewish bakery that we had at the time. Oh, God. And what was nice is the Jewish bakery, they made their own horseradish. You talk about, well, make your nose run. So I had that corned beef, Cleveland mustard, and good fresh ground horseradish. And I made some, oh man. I made some dynamite sandwiches. I don't know what the hell I ever did with that slicer. I think I gave it away. I wasn't using it enough. But nobody had ever heard of doing a brisket on a barbecue grill. And when I bought the brisket, the guy at the meat department, where the hell did I buy that thing? Oh, I got it from K&K Portage Meats up at Warren Village. And even he said to me, he said, do you ever do one on the grill? I said, corned beef. He told me how to do it. And it turned out excellent. Done to perfection. And I never did another one again. I don't know why. But I wanted to get a small one just to have it for St. Patrick's Day. I've got cabbage in the fridge. You know, I got potatoes. But when I saw the price, it's getting ridiculous. You know, you can't even enjoy corned beef on St. Patrick's Day because it's too goddamn expensive to buy. Although, you know, you don't have to have it on St. Patrick's Day, but tradition. Christ, every restaurant in Cleveland will be serving corned beef tomorrow. Not to mention, God, Slimans will do a killing. I bet you the line for Slimans will be all the way down the block. Although I'll tell you, I like the guy that makes the sandwiches. He stands at that slicer As a matter of fact, he rocks back and forth. The guy drove me crazy. And all he would do is reach up and grab a handful of corned beef and put it on the bread. And it was, of course, you do it for so long. You know how much corned beef, whatever, if they put 6 ounces on or 8 ounces. But that slice would be going, and he would just reach up without even looking. Boom. Next. Boom. All those Slimans, you get a 2-day sandwich out of Slimans. Although we've got Joe's Deli. Now they have a small restaurant. I think they're on Franklin. They might be on Madison, 117th. And then out in Rocky River, they've got their big restaurant. And they get I think corned beef sandwich is $16.95. And if you get a Reuben, I think it's $17.95. But, it's well worth it. On the Reuben, they don't put on the corned beef. If you get a Reuben, you get Thousand Island dressing. Not to mention, sauerkraut. But when I order a sandwich, I ask for two extra slices of bread. Because the sandwich is so big, I can literally take half the meat off, still have a good sized sandwich, and have enough meat to either have one later in the day or the next day. Every time I get a sandwich from Joe's, well, when I worked downtown, I used to go to Sliman's on a regular basis. Because they're over on 32nd or 22nd, St. Clair or Superior, somewhere over there. Oh, Sliman's is #1 in Cleveland. Matter of fact, I'll tell you, when I was working for limousine service, I picked these guys up and I took them to their meeting and they broke for lunch. And the guy said to me, he says, "What do you recommend?" And I said, "You like corned beef?" He said, "Oh, hell yes." I says, "I'm going to take you over to Sliman's, and I'll tell you what, they got the best corned beef on earth." And he said, "Oh, nothing beats New York." I says to him, I says, "Well, don't judge a book by its cover." And him and his cohort in crime, his buddy, whoever, came out of Sliman's. And he said, "You're right." He said, "That sandwich was better than what we get in New York, and we're known for our corned beef." I said, "Told ya." And I got a big tip, too, at the end of the day. Oh. because there was a line. And the guy said, "Oh, we'll never get in there." I said, "Just hang on a minute." And I walked in, and I said to the cashier, I says, "Hey, I've got 2 customers out in my limo that are from New York. And they doubt the quality of your sandwiches." And the girl said, "Bring them right in. I'll seat them right away." They didn't have to stand in a line. And they come out of that restaurant. As a matter of fact, both of them had doggy bags. The guy says, "Oh my God." He says, "I can't believe them sandwiches." I said, "I told ya." Well, I didn't say it like that because I didn't want to piss him off. But here were 2 guys from New York City that were extremely impressed by Slyman's. Matter of fact, when I pulled up, Slyman's ain't nothing fancy. And they looked at the building and went, "Oh, come on." I said, "Trust me." And they were extremely happy. And so was I when I took them to their private jet. Oh, and Slyman's gets the best rye. Matter of fact, they have their rye is special made for them. I can't remember the name of the Jewish bakery, but you can't go in the bakery and buy that rye, because that rye that Slyman's orders is a special blend, and it's strictly for them. And I like that rye because when you bite into the sandwich, the rye is a little crispy, It kind of crackles when you bite into it. That's a good rye bread. But I'll tell you what, Kat, I guarantee when they open at 11, the line will probably be all the way down the block waiting to get in there. God, there was a restaurant. Oh, shit, where the hell was it? It was in Brooklyn, not old Brooklyn. Brooklyn. And it was I think it was called the Sly Fox. I think that was the name of it. And every Friday they would have fish fries. Every Friday. I never got to taste the fish because every Friday the line would be down the frickin' street. And everybody said it was the best goddamn fish fry on earth. And I could never get there early enough to get close to the front of the line. They must have had, they had to have a 50-gallon fryer to keep up with the customers. And I think it was called the Sly Fox. Because one day I drove by and I saw this big line, and I stopped and I said, what's with the line? And the woman said, "We're in line for a fish fry." I said, "It's that good?" She said, "Oh, yeah." And every Friday, I don't know what kind of fish or what kind of breading or seasoning, They did money hand over fist on Fridays. I don't know where they got their fish from. It was amazing to see the line, like Sliman's. And you know, when you've got quality like that, you don't mind paying whatever the price is. Me, I don't mind, unless it's ridiculous. But if I sit down and have a quality meal, I don't mind paying whatever the asking price is. At either Sliman's or Joe's Deli, as cheap as I am, I don't mind shelling out $16.95 for a corned beef sandwich. Because, like I say, it's a 2-day sandwich. There is no way you can hold that sandwich and compress it enough to get your mouth around it. And the corned beef absolutely makes your mouth water. Matter of fact, I've been saying I'm going to go to McDonald's because they got fish 2 for $6. Of course, you have to buy 4 to equal what we had back in the 70s. Because McDonald's, I'll tell you what, McDonald's has got, let me take that back. They used to have excellent fish sandwiches. Now, I haven't had one in probably 10 years. Because my buddy that owns the McDonald's says that basically McDonald's owns that big fishing, well, it's a processing plant. People actually live on that for the whole fishing season, and they process and blast freeze and package, and it's all from McDonald's. McDonald's owns that ship. And whatever fish that they're catching, like I say, I haven't had a fish sandwich in a long time. My buddy tells me it's the same, except the fillets are smaller, you know. That's why they're 2 for $6. You eat 2 sandwiches and it equals 1 from 1970. Yeah, they did a documentary. Well, it was on fishing in Alaska. And they showed this huge fishing ship. Yeah, I think it is halibut. I think, yeah, you're right. I think it is. And this ship is literally a processing plant. I can't remember how many people live on that ship for 4 months, I think, is halibut season. They catch them, they clean them, they process them, they bread them, they blast freeze them right on that ship. And when they unload, it's shipped right to every McDonald's. Because he told me, being in Massachusetts, when that ship lands at a port in Alaska, they have trucks waiting to take that product to the airport. They put it on a plane, and he has it the next day. And like he said, you can't get it much fresher than that because it's processed on the ship. Because good old Ray Kroc had the forethought to buy a processing plant rather than catch the fish, bring them back, right there on the ship. You know, I'm going to email him and ask him. I'm going to email him in the morning and ask him if they still have the same fish or if they've changed. I'll get an honest answer. But I remember the documentary that they did, and this ship is unbelievable. Like I say, it's a floating processing plant. And I think they're out to sea for 4 months, if I'm not mistaken. And the people frickin' live right on the ship. You know, in a way, I feel sorry for them people being trapped on that ship for 4 months. What can you do? You get off of work, you go to your room, you shower, you change clothes, you go out to the cafeteria and eat, you watch whatever program they're showing. It's not like you can run into town. You're trapped on that ship for 4 months. Although I'm sure they make good money. But I'll email him in the morning. He'll answer me. Not like it's some government secret. It's nice having an inside line to McDonald's. Although I know when he emails me back, he'll say, "Did you download the app?" No, I did not download the app. I ain't downloading no app.
Somebody call security.
Okay, no problem. But I know, I'll tell you who has a close second. Arby's. Arby's has an outstanding fish sandwich. Because I've had the fish sandwiches from Arby's. I've had them from Burger King. Burger King. Ugh. But if you've got an Arby's anywhere near you, and I know you're out in God's country, stop in and get an Arby's fish sandwich sometime. I was quite impressed by it. I really was. It's a good-sized piece of fish on that sandwich. Well, it used to be. I don't know if they've cut back, but I remember You got a good chunk of fish. And it's not like McDonald's, you know. It looks like fish. Although I tell them easy on the lettuce. To me, they put too much lettuce on the sandwich. And they've got a pretty decent tartar sauce, too. Although, to me, nobody beats McDonald's tartar sauce. You used to be able to buy it. I don't know if they still sell it. You could go online and buy a jug of their tartar sauce. Although, who needs a gallon jug of McDonald's tartar sauce? Although, it is good tartar sauce.
I love it!
You eat tartar sauce? Must kill the taste of the roadkill.
Awkward.
Gee, you know, Rudy hasn't been around. I don't think he was here last night, was he? No. And TV kind of fell off the map. I don't know. I don't think anybody was here last night. Was Oodles here? I don't think so. Although you never know who's lurking in the background. If you're lurking, come into the chat there. I know you're lurking. I don't think Oodles was here last night. I don't think Rudy was here. I don't think TV was here. But I would guarantee somebody's lurking in the background. I know you're not packing. You were almost all packed, so don't be afraid to pop in. We know you're hiding. He won't pop in. He won't give me the satisfaction.
Awkward.
I didn't think so. See, the one thing that I liked with Prism is it would tell me how many people were signed in versus how many people were in the chat. Because there were some nights on Prism it would be you and Ron and there'd be 7 people signed in or 10. But with OBS, I don't have that luxury. But at Prism, if they wouldn't have screwed things up, all the good stuff is on Prism Plus, and I'm not paying for extra features that you gave me for free once before.
Damn!
Yeah, every now and then I get an email. Would you like to upgrade? No. I'm cheap. Again? Damn bird. You know, I got a gift card. Well, I was going to say I've got a gift card from Joe's, but I don't want to show up at opening to buy a corned beef sandwich. I'll have to microwave later on. God, some idiot just went down the street in a motorcycle. Jesus Christ, it's 30 degrees. Talk about diehards. Although there was a guy I knew that rode his motorcycle all year round. He had a big Harley with a sidecar, and he worked at the Ford plant. And talk about, he would put on his winter snowsuit, and then he would put on his leathers. And he would get up in the morning and put the leathers in the oven to warm them up. Then he'd put them on, and he would ride that goddamn motorcycle in the winter. I wasn't talking about you, Oodles. I was talking about Ron. I know he's lurking. You know, he got pissed off at me, and he quit showing up and unsubscribed. But I can guarantee he's lurking in the background because living by himself, he's bored as hell, and he needs some entertainment. And I know he's watching. Now, it might not be every night, but I can guarantee he's out there lurking. And he's too bullheaded to bite the bullet and come back in. He got pissed off because when I was talking about, oh, what the hell, that skier, I forgot her name. The one that broke her leg. You know, I was talking about how she almost lost the leg. And they literally had to fillet that leg open to prevent the swelling from cutting off the blood circulation. And Ron is as squeamish as a little girl. And he'd come in, you know, oh, stop it. Oh, my sound effects?
Awkward.
Yeah, I got out the one fire tab. I need a Y connector to put both of my fire tablets together with all my sound effects. This one's only got like half of what the other one's got. Come on in. Okay. No, he's not here yet. The walking belly will be in around 8:30. Although, let me look. No, he's usually sleeping right outside the studio door. I've got light coming through the whole underside, so he's not there yet. But around 8:30, he shoves the door open and comes in and grabs my leg. Feed me! I need that sound effect. That's one I don't have.
For Pete's sake!
That's what I said. Hey, you weren't here last night, Oodles. Grumpy won an Oscar. I got an Oscar to go with my 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Now we're really a classy show. Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Awkward.
Yeah, I agree. All right, calm down. Yeah, once I ordered it off of eBay. It should be here in a couple of days. I ordered a Y connector. That way I can put the 2 fire tablets together temporarily until I get the interface and the mixer set up, because I've got everything just about. Because I got the interface, my Lexicon Alpha, and I've got most of the cables. That way I can have a setup over here like I've got in Studio One. That way I can run 3 tablets through the mixer, because I've got sound effects on the other tablet. Yeah, I probably have 300 different sound effects. And I got a friend out in Scottsdale, Arizona that hates them.
I love it!
Yeah, me too. She hates this one. And this one. She said it sounds disgusting. I like it. Now you're throwing shit at me? Goddamn bird. The only problem is all the little symbols for the sound effects are so goddamn tiny. I actually, what I should do is put them on my tablet. That would be better. Put them all on the tablet. Because the tablet's got a touch screen. And then I would be able to see them better. So when I mentioned lurking, I wasn't talking about you. Because I guarantee Ron is out there. Because he was the first one in every night. Because basically he's so bored, living by himself, that this was probably the only entertainment that he had. And I called him out because he was acting like a little sissy, and he got pissed off. And he unsubscribed, which didn't hurt me because it's not like I'm monetized. But I can guarantee you're out there lurking. I guarantee, Ron, you're out there lurking. So some night come in the chat, man up, act your age. Yeah, anytime I would talk about a surgical procedure or something, he'd be like, "Oh, stop you!" I thought I had an ew sound effect on here. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. I thought I had. What the hell's going on here? Every time I touch the tablet, I could have swore I had a ew. I guess not. Let me look here. I could have swore I had a ooh. I could have swore I had one. Now the damn tablet won't work. What the hell happened? What did I do? I screwed the tablet up. It switches. I screwed the tablet up. I can't get nothing out of it. No sound effects. Now what did I do? That one's for Ron. I knew I had it somewhere. I don't know what I did. The damn I'm hitting the buttons, and it wasn't making no noise. And the volume is up. Although I can't, this tablet's starting to really act up. And the damn thing, I looked, it's 19 years old. And still really functioning, I'll say 70%. God, 19-year-old tablets were in the garbage years ago. Now it's locked into my favorites. I got to figure something out for St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. I don't have my. I used to have a green like top hat. I don't know what the hell happened to it. It was an actual felt. It looked something like what you'd see on a Irish elf. And I can't find it. I, a lot of shit got lost in the last move. Although the people I had helping me pack, I think they basically looked at something and went, "Oh, this is shit," and threw it away. Like I've been telling Kathy, I had a little crock. I would say maybe it held a little more than 16 ounces, but it was an old antique crock. And I used to save bacon drippings because they're nothing better than like sauteing onions in bacon grease, And when I was putting stuff in the refrigerator, I couldn't find the crock. And I had 3 big coolers. And I says to the one girl, I said, "Did you see my little crock?" She went, "Oh, yeah, I thought it was moldy, so I threw it away." I said, "You what?" Well, when she tossed it in the garbage can, it broke. And oh my God, was I pissed off. That crock I had it was an antique. And every time I'd fry bacon, I'd pour the bacon grease off into the crock. And then if I would like saute onions or vegetables, or sometime when you sear beef or that, I use bacon grease like my grandmother always did. She threw it out. Ugh, it looked like it was moldy. And I have yet to be able to find a little tiny crock like that. Although, I'm sure if I went out to Amish country, I could probably find one, but I'm not going to drive 200 miles for a crock. I can't even remember where I got that thing. I think I got it at a garage sale. But it was old. I mean, really old. But it was perfect size. Maybe it was 6. All right, let's see. A bottle of pop is 16. Now, it had to be like 32 ounces. But I've never seen a little crock like that anywhere. Although Kathy's got her eye, she's got her eye out for one for me. She's going to find me a crock, and she's going to find me a glass insulator. Because she's down there in God's country, where a lot of that stuff still exists. So what's going on in your part of town, Oodles? How's the weather? It's frickin' snowing here. Although the reason it's snowing is tomorrow is the parade. And you can't have nice weather for a parade, you know. The Cleveland gods are like, oh, tomorrow's the parade. Oh, temperature 30 and snow. The kids in the marching band, their lips will be freezing to their instruments. There'll be kids with bottles of hot water, little sprayers. Oh. Like putting your tongue on an aluminum door. I never fell for that one. I don't know how many poor kids got their tongues stuck to the flagpoles. Well, no rush. I know you'll find one. I have all the faith in the world, Kathy, that you will find a little crock and you'll find me an insulator. I know it's going to happen. I'm in no hurry. I haven't had my bacon grease crock in 7, 8 years. I can wait a little longer. Not to mention I don't cook that much bacon anymore because every time you go to the meat counter, there's a finance man standing there. Oh, you want to buy bacon? Here, sign this loan form. And, you know, the sneaky thing is, you know, a package of bacon used to be a pound. The last package of bacon I got was 14 ounces. I'm like, hey, you couldn't put 2 more pieces on there? Yeah, people don't really pay attention. When you got a pound of bacon, you got a pound of bacon. Now, it's 14 ounces. Holy shit. Man. I didn't look at the weather forecast. I hope we're not going to get that kind of shit here. God damn, 3 to 6 inches? Somebody needs to shoot Punxsutawney Phil. Goddamn thing sees its shadow every year. Bring him out with a blindfold next time. Oh yeah, Kathy, the price of bacon's ridiculous. But the package that I got, because I wanted to do my cabbage in bacon grease when I made my cabbage and noodles, was 14 ounces. And I didn't notice until I went to open it. And then that little itty bitty print at the bottom, 14 ounces. You don't even get a frickin' pound anymore. It's like buying ice cream. Used to get half a gallon. Goddamn Breyers, the carton is about the same. Well, they shrunk the carton a little bit, but as they shrunk the cartons, they did it over a span of time, so you didn't really notice. Same thing with Klondike bars. Klondike bar used to be about that thick. Now they're half. I bought a package of Klondike bars and I opened it up and I went, God damn, thing's melted. Yeah, but you know, I'm not a regular purchaser. And the last time I bought Klondike bars, they were, you know, and I got a coupon. Remember coupons? I got a coupon for 50% off. So I went to the store and I bought a package of Klondike bars. Didn't pay much attention till I got home. And then after dinner, I was like, oh, I'm going to have a Klondike bar. And I unwrapped the thing and I was like, what the fuck is this? Now, you have to put two together to get what you used to have. Like McDonald's fish sandwiches. I'll never forget, after they downsized, I went in and I ordered a couple of fish sandwiches. And I unwrapped the fish sandwich and I went back up to the counter and I said, hey, I didn't order a child's portion. I ordered an adult portion. She looked at the sandwich and went, that is the adult portion. I was like, Jesus Christ. Goddamn fish sandwich looks like a White Castle hamburger. And I know the fish was smaller because it had half a slice of cheese on it. When you got a McDonald's fish sandwich, it was a full slice of American cheese. That fish sandwich, the fish is so tiny now, they put half a slice. That's why they have them 2 for $6. Because you eat two and it's the size of one. Yeah, Kathy, you have to have two. Two equals one old 1970s sandwich. So in order to fill myself up, I'm going to get 4. That way I have 2 back in the day sandwiches.
Well, back in my day.
Right. My friend says he gets tired of me saying back in the day. Well, back in the day, you got your money's worth. What, 1970, a fish sandwich was what? $1? $1.25 maybe? Maybe not even that much. Now it's $3 and you get half the sandwich. And I know when I go in and order 4, the girl's going to look at me and I'm going to say, well, these 4 equal 2 when I was your age. And then she'll go, Jesus Christ, you're that old?
Whippersnapper.
Yep. Then that new sandwich that they come out with, the Arch Burger. It's a half pound of beef with 3 slices of cheese for like $9 for one frickin' sandwich. And it's McDonald's. Although I don't know if we have any. When I go to get the fish sandwiches, I'm going to find out if we have the Arch Burger yet. Not that I'm going to order one, because I'm cheap. Tell the girl I can't afford to eat at McDonald's. I have a Passat to support. Every time I drive it, something else goes wrong with it. And it was too cold today. I didn't go up to Ryan's. Jesus Christ. Talk about inflation. I would say probably 1970, that sandwich might have been 32 cents, maybe 35. Although inflation didn't crawl up as much as it has, nowadays. 29 cents for a fillet of fish. God damn. That's scary. Yeah, I'd have been 14 years old. Give it 2 years, maybe it was up to 30 cents, 35. Although I didn't hit McDonald's too much. I liked Manners. On Friday night, me and my friends would go to Manners and get a big boy and fries and a Coke for $1 or something, $1.25 maybe. See, we don't have Culver's here. I wish we did. I've heard a lot of people talk about Culver's. But see, the way, the economy is, they're not expanding. Oh, God, Arthur Tortures. Oh, my God. I could eat pounds of that. Yeah, we had an Arthur Tortures right down the street. I used to go in there all the time. I probably went to Arthur Tortures after school at least 3 days a week. At least. Because they had outstanding fish and it was very reasonably priced. Because right at the corner of 140th and Lorraine, just down from the high school, we had Wendy's, which is still there, and right next door was Arthur Tortures. And then when Arthur Tortures went out, they tore the building down. There's one out in Garfield Heights. There's one out in Garfield Heights on Rockside. Because the guy owned the building and he was in early, and when he bought the franchise, he got grandfathered. and they couldn't take it away from him. And they're still producing the fish. I mean, the fish is the same, but there's one at on Rockside in Garfield. I was telling Kathy, I like Arby's fish sandwiches. Yeah, I remember when they were 5 for $5. Now they're 3 for $6 or something. Every now and then they run that 3 for $6 or 3 for $8, something. Yeah, I remember, because I would go in and get roast beef sandwiches, get 5 of them. Make a pig out of myself. Taco Bell, I used to like the taco pizza. I think they brought it back. I haven't checked their menu. Somebody told me that they brought it back, the taco pizza. I used to love the taco pizza. I would stop into Taco Bell and get 2 of them because I'm a pig. Yeah, back in the day we had all kinds of fast food. We had PDQ, which was like a McDonald's, and Barney's. Oh, God. A big Barney. The Red Barn. Go in and get a big Barney. Oh, God, was that a good sandwich. Then Red Barn went out. PDQ went out. Matter of fact, our PDQ, the people bought it, remodeled the building, and opened a little mom and pop restaurant. Oh, yeah, the Nachos Bel... Yeah, that's another one. Yeah. The old Nachos Bel Grande. I remember when McDonald's was strictly takeout only. There was no such thing as eat inside. You pulled up, you walked up to the window, you got your order, you went back and sat in the car. That was before drive-thrus, too. Oh, you remember Red Barn? Oh, that big Barney. Oh, my God, what a sandwich that was. It was, I'll tell you what, I liked, going to Manners. But the big Barney surpassed Manners in a heartbeat. And it was cheaper, too. Yeah, we had a Red Barn right down 117th. It's a laundromat now. The building's still there, but they turned it into a laundromat. And it's people my age know it's still a Red Barn. Because one day I stopped in and I was talking to the clerk that was working there. And I said, do you know what this was before it was a laundromat? She's like, no. I said it was Red Barn. She goes, what's Red Barn? I said it was a restaurant, like McDonald's. And it looked like a barn. It still does. That's how I know. I told her, I says, why do you think this building looks like a barn? I told him, gargle it. Oh, really? They downsized it? Oh, shit. Ain't worth me going to get it. You know, to get filled up, I'd have to have 4. That's ridiculous. Jesus. Inflation. Thanks, Frump. Talk about Jesus, $3.99. I thought it was $2. I looked again, and it's half the size. Forget that. Taco Bell, you ain't gonna see Grumpy. No frickin' way. But you know, Oodles, kids today, they have no idea what they're missing. Used to get one this big. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yes, I do. Half the size. It's got to be about like that. Jesus. I was all excited for a minute there. I was like, oh boy, the taco pizza. I don't think so. Hey, you're late. The Walking Belly just came in. You're late. Oh, well.
That's it, I'm through.
Time to call it a night. The Walking Belly is here, telling me time to feed him. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. The new home of the Oscar. All right. We will meet again right here tomorrow night. I have to figure out something for St. Patrick's Day. We'll do something, I don't know. I'm not dressing up like an elf, I'll tell you that. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Take care. And we will see you tomorrow night. Have a good one. And we will have the obligatory, well, that was one.